Hachette Audio presents Separate and Unequal, the Kerner Commission and the Unraveling of American Liberalism. Written by Stephen M. Gillon. Read by Ryan Vincent Anderson. To Ventui, Louise Borges. Introduction. On July 27, 1967, President Lyndon Johnson stood before a national television audience to announce the creation of the National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders, NACCD. The speech followed deadly and destructive riots in Newark and Detroit, which marked the culmination of 4 consecutive summers of racial unrest in American cities. The violence in the summer of 1967 marked an important moment in the evolution of the civil rights movement from peaceful protests in the South and the nonviolent rhetoric of Martin Luther King Jr. to violent confrontations in the North and the angry voices of black nationalists such as Stokely Carmichael. The shift shattered the coalition that had just a few years earlier won passage of 2 monumental civil rights laws, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and it created a deep and bitter divide between black and white. The Newark and Detroit riots came at a difficult time in the Johnson presidency. LBJ had dominated Washington during his first years in office. In 1964, after winning election in a massive landslide, he had pushed Congress to pass an ambitious set of social programs as part of his Great Society agenda. Now, however, he found himself trapped, bogged down in a costly and increasingly unpopular war in Vietnam that threatened to tear apart the Democratic Party. Liberals who had cheered his Great Society legislation now split into rival factions of hawks and doves over the war. While Cold War liberals pushed Johnson to wage a more aggressive war, a small but vocal group of critics attacked LBJ from the left, charging that the war squandered resources that should be spent at home. At the same time, a generation gap eroded support of his administration, as many young people, especially those attending elite private colleges and large state universities, vigorously protested the war and rejected Johnson's establishment liberalism. While fighting off challenges from the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?